My name's Geoff Dick. I'm the Rivers and Drainage Engineering Manager for Marlborough District Council. We've just done a post-flood fight for an over-designed flood event in the Wairau. It's a very large river, and so we've flown it from the sea up to the Waihopai. And in general terms, apart from two spots, the scheme has performed extremely well. We had stopbanks last night that were slightly overtopping, and in general terms, all those have survived. They've done their jobs. Of the pockets of the community we evacuated, the majority can go back to their houses all in one piece, and the recovery will be relatively simple. Around Blenheim and the Lower Wairau Plains, we have $200 million worth of assets, and that's been a significant investment over many generations, and the community got a huge return out of them yesterday. It's as simple as that. There's a lot of detailed damage assessment to be done, but we can only do that once the river's down. But at the moment, we'll focus on the areas of increased vulnerability, and we really want to make sure where we can get some patches in place in case we get another rainfall event over this winter period.
When I first came up here yesterday morning, we weren't quite sure what we were going to be responding to. As the weather has unfolded, so has the response. We've had a really good team here right through the day and then again right through the night. Everyone's come together, and we've had all of the major emergency response units and entities on site. So we've had police here, we've had health here, we've had fire and emergency, we've had Marlborough Roads here, and of course we've had council, Rivers staff. So like a well-oiled machine, we've come here together to deal with the response across each part of the province and each part of the emergency.
Our communities are safe, and that's always the first thing that we must prioritise. So I'm really pleased to report that. I've heard a lot of stories of neighbours helping neighbours, and more than that, I mean, people go out of their way to make sure that people around them, they mightn't be personal friends, only acquaintances, but we all take the time to check on each other, and I think that's something that I've noticed in the past, and we've had a few experiences here in Marlborough with some pretty trying events over the years, so but I think that's something that sets us apart. But look, what I can say, and I'm going to summarise it really quickly, we are very, very well served by our emergency management team. We should, and we are very proud of the way we respond to these sorts of emergencies, and I think as a community we do the same. So I'm really happy to have the opportunity of passing on that thanks and making sure everyone realises they are very well served. Thank you.